Welcome. Join. I'm just going to let everybody come in first. Yamilette is already online. I just want everyone to come in before I introduce you to her. Hello Fami. Hello Belle. If I don't say your name, I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for joining. Today is so exciting because it is officially the first... Oh, I'm going to mute that first. It is officially my first creative talk, and I've decided to do this creative series because, you know, in our bid to become different, in our bid to become multiple in personality, in our bid to become more creative, it is so important for me to learn from other people. And that's what I have been doing all my life. And I thought that I would invite you to sort of like be introduced to the people I know and be inspired by them. And there will be people of all kinds of background because I'm here to celebrate the idea of being multi. So if you go to my other IG, I say be multiple because there's beauty in being multiple. It's beauty to do many things at one time. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. And there's so many people out there that are doing just that and being so successful. And one of them, I met Yamilette, who I met earlier this year because I did a conference with her and she was the host, and we instantly got on. And when I started learning about her, I started having more conversations with her, she surprised me. She's a former ballerina and she's now doing this amazing communications business, and I just think that you guys should learn from her because she's going to talk about personal branding, something that's so important for you in your bid to become your own person. So I'm going to invite her in right now, and she's going to join us. And hi everybody, keep it coming, the love hearts. I love it. I'm just going to make sure that Yamilette is going to be there.
Hi Nini, how are you?
How exciting, Yamilette, you look gorgeous. Thank you for dressing up.
I dressed up for you with plenty color.
I thought that I needed to show myself, so I'm dressing up my favorite print, the peacock print, and with earrings as well for you, because it's all about you, right?
Beautiful. I also have a bird earrings, the chicken and the egg.
Oh, I love it. It's a whole circle of life. So Yamilette, everybody here, it's not many, but we're gonna post this again later on in the afternoon. But today's Friday chat, I'm so excited to finally be able to do this for you and with you. And it's about the celebration of being many things. And you have done so many things. And I'm not going to even explain it. Please, Yamilette, tell me your story first.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and hello everyone. Thank you for joining with us today in this afternoon. I'm here in Hong Kong, hot Hong Kong, very warm but sunny, which is great for the weekend. How did I start? Right, and I love your premise of multifull. I have heard multi-potentialite before, but this is the first time that I hear multifull, which is connected with being purposeful, being fulfilled about what we do in life. So it's lovely. I'm going to start using it more in my hashtags and connecting with that idea, for sure.
And it's also about...
Yes.
Sorry.
Tell me.
No, just the whole idea of being multiple. It's also a play on the word beautiful. So when you're multiple, you're also beautiful as well. That's all. I'm sorry. Sorry. Go back to your story. I'm excited.
No, it does has to do with the fact that a lot of us, perhaps not much so now, but when we grew up, and especially in countries like in Mexico, people would say, you should do and know what you want to do for the rest of your life. And that's such a big question. It's such a thing of like, at 5, are you asking me what do I want to do until I'm 80? It's just like having the whole cow and you don't know how to eat it. So learning how to chop that cow and to see that you can have it in little steaks or the veggie or whatever you like to eat, but it has to be in little pieces. If not, it becomes overwhelming. And the idea that we can do many things, it's also very important. not everybody is born with a purpose in life. A lot of people, they are born and they say, I want to be a doctor forever, and that's great. But some of us, we are born with the idea, okay, I want to do this, but then I also do this, that it's also very good for me. I'm very passionate about the other thing. So that's where the notion of multiple comes in, and that happened to me. I did say to my mom at 3 that I wanted to be a ballerina for life, but throughout the journey I was able to see that I could do so much more. And I do have to give it to my parents that they're the ones that pushed me to say, you know, you're good at this, you're good at that, why don't you try other avenues too, because you can also be happy. So I started to dance at 5. After I burned my cake candles, I was like, Mom, now you can take me to ballet school. And that's when my journey of dancing started. I feel that more than being born with thinking that I always want to be a ballerina, I was born with the edge of creativity, the edge of trying the arts, and that feeling inside me of the fire of being on stage. So the first encounter was moving and dancing through the art form of ballet. I danced for 20 years until I retired at 25. And that was one of the first moments that I had to face a big life decision. Do I continue dancing professionally, or do I try other things, other passions that I may have, other industries that I'm also good at? So through the process of analysis and thinking, I've done this most of my life from what I've known. Is it going to be okay to take the plunge, to jump and try a new thing that might be very scary? I decided that I was going to jump, but the notion of jumping with a peekaboo started there in my life. I don't want to just jump and smash my face on the floor and not knowing where I'm going to land. I decided that I also wanted to have a strategy. So being creative and being passionate about things doesn't mean that you don't have to have a strategy. By having the strategy made it easier for me to land softer. There's always going to be bumps in the ride, but it wasn't that painful. So I decided, okay, I'm going to try other things. I studied international relations, so I went through that avenue, and I thought that I wanted to be a diplomat, which it lasted for a little bit. And then I said, okay, no, I want to do something more outside of the box. Because even though dancing, any dance, but ballet especially because it's so strict, seems to be a very creative art. It's a very in-the-box art. You have to follow the choreography, the teacher. There's not a lot of space for you to create unless you are the choreographer yourself. So after that try in the consulate of Canada back in the day, I said, you know, I'm gonna again take the jump. Look down, where am I going to land, and try something else. So my journey into entrepreneurship started then without me even knowing. So the fact that I decided to just go for it, it was the first step to be an entrepreneur. And even when you think about it, when you're a ballerina, you also have to be an entrepreneur. You have to care for yourself and try to be present all the time and make the teachers see you so they can give you the role, and practice at your own time too. So all of these things were building up to the point of when I decided to work in another profession. I said, okay, I have studied this, international relations, I have so much experience in dancing, what's next? I'm just gonna take my bags and travel and see what the opportunities are going to be, what are the opportunities that are going to happen. I went to Montreal for a year. I worked at a trade commission for the Mexican Trade Commission back then, and also worked at a restaurant because needed to get so much more money so to live there. So I was working multiple jobs, and that's when I stumbled with events. Because my previous boss, he had an event space, and he said to me, oh, you're okay working at the restaurant, but why don't you help me promote the events? And again, jumping and saying, okay, yes, why not? I have no idea about events. I've never studied this. Back in the day, we didn't have a bachelor degree in events management. So yeah, what can go wrong? Why not? And
why not?
Why not? That would be the other thing of being multiple. Just why not? your plan B or C or D is not as bad as you may think in the beginning. So looking back would be, okay, maybe I would have to go back and live with my parents for a while, which is not bad. I need to find another job while I find another opportunity for me to go somewhere else. So yeah, let's do it. And I did it for a year, and it opened my mind. I said, well, now I can organize events, but I can also host events. So that transition that was a little bit difficult from dancing to another thing that made me feel that passion suddenly just became a reality. Okay, I'm not going to be on a stage by showcasing my movements only. I can be on the stage by showcasing my voice, but also my movements, and enforce some kind of impact to the audience. So that's when my journey of live speaking also started. I started emceeing events, the events that I produced. And once again, I decided to jump with that peekaboo feeling and come to Hong Kong. And it's been 13 years producing
13 years.
13
Wow.
years organizing events, hosting events, and now with my new approach, which is with Louder, we train people that also want to gain that confidence to take the first step and jump with their peekaboo that would make their dreams come true. So
I love it.
All like my journey. I love so many other things. I like fashion, I like color, but everything kind of has fallen into place so I can work with these things and continue those dreams and those passions that I really like.
Oh, wow. Okay, let's pause for a little bit, Yamilette. You did your introduction perfectly because it was 5 minutes and it felt longer, but it was so great. You covered everything. But hello and welcome to everybody who's just joined this conversation. I am here speaking with Yamilette Cano, and she's based out in Hong Kong, but she's originally from Mexico. And she's an amazing, amazing human being, an international human being, because as I have just discovered, you have traveled around the world and arrived at Hong Kong, right? And we're going to recap that a little bit, but you were just telling me that you started off as a ballerina and then you moved on and you were in international relations after that, and then you went into your trade commissions in Montreal. That whole, like, you did ballet for like 25 years, right?
Yeah.
That was just your profession before you started jumping with a peekaboo style, but you jumped peekaboo style after that. And so that whole point, building up to your company, Louder Global, how long is that in terms of years?
Well, the dancing, obviously, you're not a professional when you start because you start at 4 or 5, and the point you can call yourself a little bit more of a professional. It's the last few years of the school. You still have to go through the process. And then I danced at companies when I graduated from high school up to graduating from university. So that was around 6 years of dancing with professional companies. But the learning, it's all a lifetime itself. It's almost like doctors. You have to start very, very young in order to get to that point where they could hire you. Some ballerinas start dancing even at their 15, 16 years old, but it also depends on the company. And, but from there, from there. Sorry, I'm like, carry on. From there, the journey between that moment of retirement to Louder Global, which that idea started in 2018, will be over 10 years. Okay. No, I just wanted to say this to everyone, because when you actually pivot yourself or move out of your last profession, career, whatever, some people are lucky enough to just hit the ground running, right? But for many of us, it will take a long period of time. So and I think we need to practice patience and perseverance and grit and just know that you're doing an actual journey. They don't say it like a joke, like you're about to embark on a journey. It really is a journey. It's not like in a day. It's a whole thing. So I just wanted to remind people as they're thinking outside of their boxes and wanting to try something new, to have patience like you have, to nurture and create this creative life for yourself. So now and so now it's Louder Global. Louder Global is, if everybody wants to know, Yamilette is doing Louder Global. I know she's going to talk a little bit more about, I'm giving you a summary.
it's about communications coaching, right? And you are coaching people to motion, emotion, and impact. That's your biggest thing, right? And you know, you coach entrepreneurs, you coach you're a multilingual speaker, and you coach companies as well as personal people. And the thing that I want to concentrate on today is that you actually coach people on their branding. And I think people need to learn about personal branding and all that. And I know that it all starts with you. That's your famous quote, and I'm quoting you. It all starts with you. How important is it to know yourself? How do you even start?
I would say it's everything, because obviously we go through transitions in our life. You cannot say that you can know yourself all the time 100%, because we change. Change is constant, and it's the only constant in life. But our values, I could say that they not change that much throughout our lives. I always want to work and be seen as a person that is respectful and honest to others. So I want to collaborate with people that have similar values. Since I was very young to this day, I still have that value of honesty and respect. I wouldn't want to collaborate with someone that makes me question my ethics or my professionalism for perhaps extra money. So knowing yourself and your basics, those roots are very, very important, and it's everything. Because from there, you can craft the persona, the character almost, I will say, that would change depending on the situation and the objectives required. But the basics, again, as I said, they shouldn't change. Unless your values are different. You say, I don't care about respect or honesty, I only care about advancement and career. So then obviously you're trying to curate your persona around that. So it all starts with that, knowing what do I really want for my life. And it sounds very corny, but it's true. And how do I want to be perceived? Is the vision that I have of myself similar that the vision that others have of me? And can this be congruent? Do we have that consistency? Hence, then you would be seen as a very natural individual and very authentic of what you're representing. If those things are not clear, then that's when it becomes a little bit unnatural, and people would say to me, oh, I don't feel well with this dress, for example, or I don't feel well using my hands. It's because you haven't found that frequency that it's ideal for you, that makes you feel comfortable enough to sound, look, and feel natural. That's why I say it all starts with you, and it's very important to know those roots, and that takes a lot of analysis.
Oh, I love that. Because, you know, a lot of people, when they talk about personal branding, everybody just goes straight to the whole story part, like where you write the copy. But I think what you're emphasizing is knowing yourself so that you sound, look, and feel natural. I think that when you exemplify yourself in your best possible light, that's when people will be able to emanate. And you need to know what you're projecting out to people, right? You're not just go, oh yeah, you like me. I don't know why, but actually you do. You know, people like me for my color, and they like me, you know, for my smile, things like that, you know. And you know, in Malaysia, it's very, very, it's a new concept in a way. It's not so new in companies about branding and what, but personal branding is something new because you almost have to toot your own horn, right? Yeah. And it's and this is a society, or we're in a country where we need to be humble, and looking inwards that way has not been. We don't have a lot of skill sets for that. So to the novice, to somebody who's just beginning to want to think about their brand, what are the quick ways that they can do? I know this is sort of like taken away from your coach, but give me a sneak peek. What can they do to set? Because eventually they will want to meet somebody like you to harness the brand. But what can they do to start thinking about their personal brand?
That is very true. It's very difficult, and one is the first thing that I don't feel that it's only in countries like Malaysia. Us human beings, we love the praising and we love someone complimenting us, but it's not easy to take that. So when we have to do it to ourselves, it's also very, very hard to sit down and think, oh, I have a beautiful smile, look at the mirror, and accept and appreciate everything that we have without being cocky. Because there could be a very fine line. Oh, I'm the most wonderful person in the world, and you know, I know that I have all these goods. Let me use it for a positive purpose and for the win-win of both parties. So my first thing would be to set up an intention. What is the intention that you have for every little situation that you are going through? An overarching intention is important, as we were saying. What do I want to leave behind when I close the door and people are talking about me and you cannot control the conversation? What do you want them to say about you? And that should be very simple things that people could remember right away. But then there's the other part of intention, the very detailed intention, and I call it intentional. I come here today to say hi to you and have a conversation and to connect with our viewers. And my overall intention is just for them to have fun. So if I'm talking to you in a slow pace and with a face that I'm very worried and nervous, and maybe obviously in this point that which is more separated from them, and I'm not using my hands, then people are not going to be having fun. So because in my mind I have the intention that I want you to have fun today, almost the content doesn't even matter. What matters is how are you seeing me, the visual aid that you get from me. So I need to smile, I need to use a lot of my hands, I needed to dress up a little bit with color and just look happy. That's my main intention today. So by setting up specific intentions, then it helps us then create that persona or adapt your persona to that specific moment. If I want my boss to give me a raise, that's my overall intention of that meeting, then what do I need to do physically, emotionally, with my IQ, with my EQ, with my heart in order for that to happen? So I would say first set up intentions throughout your day and throughout your life. Second would be, yes, to have a little bit of an analysis in words to understand what do you have and what you don't have that you can work on. So your strengths and your weaknesses. We don't dwell on the weaknesses because then it becomes more of a negative approach in that analysis. We need to know what is there for a weakness, but now that we know what our strengths are, we work more on the strengths. So how can we know what are the strengths and weaknesses? First step, ask yourself, write a list. Okay, these are the great things that I have, and these are the things that I already know that I'm not great at, and perhaps I want to work on. And then ask for feedback, because you need both sides of the coin. You cannot just only get your point of view. So when you ask people that you care, you ask people that even those that you don't really know very well, it's very important to see how they perceive you. So if they give you similar feedback from the point of view that you already have, let's say I think that I'm super funny. And I ask a lot of my friends and none of them say I'm very funny. So what does that mean? That means that I'm the only one that thinks I'm funny. So maybe I have to work on my jokes. But if they all say that I'm funny, then I know I'm doing well. There's a consistency from both points of views, and then I can exploit that even more, strengthen that even more. So we need feedback from my inner analysis and from the outside world, create a pattern and use those patterns to our advantage.
That is amazing. Oh, so there's a more? There's a third?
Oh, and the third would be practice. For me, it's always practice because we are always perfectible. There's not such a thing of being perfect, but we can strive to be a little bit more perfect than the day before. So once I have an intention very clear, I align those strengths to my intention, then I need to practice that. Practice with myself in front of the mirror, practice with my friends, so safe environment, and then practice with the world. So all of these elements can again see that consistency, and people are going to start remembering you for those specific things, and it's gonna start to build trust, because if I see the same thing over and over and over, I kind of believe that it's true. And we see it with personal brands, so it's exactly the same thing with a personal brand.
Oh, that's fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing this. I know you do this as your personal coaching program. So everybody here, I just want to let you know, it's not every day that we can get this type of tip. But I love what you said about understanding and setting up these daily intentions on throughout your whole day. Because I think that's what I did when I was in work. You know, I had this identity issue, Nini Marini, whatever, right? So for the 20 years, I called myself Marini for the specific reason I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be strong in the media industry, you know, and I wanted to be seen as somebody who's confident. And I had those intentions unknowingly, and it worked, you know, because recently somebody from my past came and said, I've always liked you. You're such a dragon lady in the company. And I was shocked because I'm so not, I've shedded that now, right? And I was just like, was it that? Oh, really? Is that me? But actually, when I think back, that's exactly what I projected out to at the time. And it's important to know that you can change these intentions as you evolve as a brand, right? As a human being. So you need to always check in with yourself. But just to recap, the thing that you can do to think about your brand is build these small intentions, whether it's how do you want to approach your boss today, or how you want to go around your husband or something like that. Just set those intentions and see whether that works out for you, right? Am I close? Right. And the other one is to what was the other one? Analyze, right? Analyze and then ask for feedback and ask people, do you think that I'm this, and this? And if they say the same things, then you're on to the right track. And if they don't, you should also reflect on those moments as well, because why are you then projecting those things? And you need to reflect. It's a great time to reflect. So yeah, that's awesome. And a lot of people
sorry, when you ask those questions, it's important to do it in a positive tone. Because if you ask to someone, tell me my weaknesses, it feels a little bit too aggressive, and people may not want to give you their feedback. So it's important to be positive and say, I'm going through a learning process, a development process. So set a context. And what do you feel from my presence today? What do you see from me today? And how can I strengthen even more those things that make me good? So instead of saying, tell me my weaknesses, just put it in a way that it's positive, depending on the relationship also that you may have with that person. But that's a lot of people say, they don't want to give me feedback. They feel that it's too much. Yes, because you're asking the tough questions and nobody wants to ask them.
Yeah,
so
and
positiveness is very important.
Yes, especially because it's so personal for you. You're trying to build this, and you want to surround yourself with as much creative and great energy for yourself. I also thought bubble came out. The people that you approach is also quite important, right? You don't just approach everyone. So maybe is it about selecting positive people or people that you admire? How do you approach, and who do you approach, do you think?
It's almost like collecting data. So the more the merrier, because you do want to confront yourself with those that don't know you at all, but they already have a perception of yourself. Because remember, we live in a world that once you come into a room, already people are having a perception or an idea of who you may be.
Okay.
So it's important to have a combination of very close individuals to you, people that you admire, business colleagues, or people that are a little bit more random, perhaps acquaintance in terms of the friendship level, and someone that you don't work that closely with. But still, as I said, they are going to have something to say about you. So by collecting so much data, then you can create the pattern. Some people may say something very random, and that doesn't mean it's not important, but we should not dwell on that, because if it's just a one-off comment, then it's a very, very specific and individual point of view. But you're trying to find the consistency, and as I said, that pattern. Everybody's saying you have a great smile, you collect those. Everybody's saying in the mornings you're grumpy, you collect those. Yeah.
Oh, that's perfect. Great example. Okay, so now we've decided that this is a brand. This is my brand. What can you do with this, like knowing yourself this way? How can you then exercise this into your business? How does it impact? How useful will it be?
Well, first of all, you start building confidence on what you have and who are you and what can you share to the world. So if I don't have a very clear idea and a strong branding of myself, it would be very, very difficult to sell to you that I'm colorful, that I'm passionate, that I love what I do, because it would be almost like fake and very produced and performed, which is possible to do. But in the long run, if we were thinking about a movie star that is playing one character over and over and over, it's not a natural thing for that person. They're just taking on someone else's idea. If they were to go out into the world and continue trying to portray this character, it would be very tiring. So it's the same with us. If I say, oh, okay, I'm going to wing it, I'm just going to fake it until we make it. I'm going to try to smile, but I'm just inside, I'm just boiling. After a while, it would become difficult to keep up with that persona. So that's why it's so important to know your brand, your limits, and what can you really sell naturally. And how is that going to impact your business or your work? Well, if you have a business, people are going to see that authenticity, and people like and buy from people that are authentic. And then you can kind of trust in a personal level, even though we might not know each other personally, but it kind of feels that I do, because you are showcasing that to me. You are so sold with your ideas and your brand that I'm sold too. And in the corporate level, if you have a corporate job, it also will help you to not be afraid of speaking up, of saying, I want to raise my hand for that project. I'll be there for the team. I can do something that I've never done, but I'm happy to learn. So it's all about confidence making, more so than only the brand. You have to create that confidence. And when you have a strong confidence, it's also it's going to be helpful for the advancement of anything that you do. Your job, you want to climb the corporate ladder, people are going to start to see you and notice you and see, oh, that person is different, unique. She or he does something that everybody else doesn't. And in your business is the same. Oh, there's so many coaches around the world. You can choose from them, and they might be more knowledgeable than you. But hopefully you choose me because you have that feeling that our journey is going to be so enjoyable that that's what matters to you. More so than if I give you a full lecture of technicalities on how to speak better. We want that journey to be enjoyable. So branding totally helps for us to sell what we do in life, or who do we work with, or what do we want, in our future.
Yeah. And it's a huge journey, this branding thing. When I looked into really looking at my language and what kind of words I wanted to project out there, it took a lot of inward reflection, and I'm still on that journey. But I know that it's becoming clearer and clearer every day. The things that I don't really want to project anymore, I kind of like put it away and just bring out the one. And I love the ones that bring you energy, and it's natural and authentic. And it's so important today for brands to be authentic. I think any marketing person who is following here right now, the idea of authenticity is so important in today's social media. And if you want your brand to resonate with somebody else, you need to be truthful, and you need to be honest and show yourself in a way that's authentic. It's a big word, and you should just wrap your hands around it. Yeah. But finally, the biggest thing that I think that I take away from your conversation here today is you have to create confidence. It's that simple. It's about creating confidence for yourself so that people can be confident in you as well. But most of all, confident in yourself. It doesn't really matter if everybody else, but once you have that confidence, you're able to reach out and do more, I think. And so that you just made that so simple. And I think your methods of bringing somebody's brand out is very, very, it's almost organic, really. And it's about energy exchange. And you look into that aspect a lot, which I think is really special about what you do at Louder Global. And having said that, I just want to circle back to Louder Global, because that's an amazing company. And it is about breaking the idea of coaching being happy on stage. I love that one because we had a conversation before and you said, I want to make people feel happy on stage. Please elaborate further the work that you do in Louder Global and you know how many people work with you and all that stuff, so people know.
Thank you. Just rounding up about the confidence, because it's so, and that's why I love to call myself a confidence maker, because it's your journey versus mine. I don't want you to copy me. If some of the things that I do help, but it's that internal analysis, which at the end of the day, it also will help you to see life in a more relaxing way. Because if you make a mistake, we all do. It's also about how confident are you that that mistake is not going to undermine everything else that you're working for and push you backwards. We just need to let go and laugh about it. So when we are at work and our bosses are not being very nice to us because we make a mistake, okay, let's take on the conversation and the feedback, analyze it, and just don't dwell on it forever. It's important to close the cycle. If you need to cry, to scream, to laugh, do it, but just don't stay there. And that happens when we really are confident about what are our next steps or what do we want for our future. So for any journey, it's super important. Confidence is not only about being happy all the time, it's being confident that we can, as you mentioned, Nini Marini, pivot, be flexible, agile, and creative about our situations, because life is all full about that. So that's why with Louder, I want people to feel happy on what they're doing and feeling that even with the nerves, because I would say that nerves never go away and it's important to use them instead of feeling, oh my God, this is going to be horrible. Yes, I'm nervous because I care, because I'm ready, because I want to fight, I want to be better. Again, positive intentions overall the negativity of things. There's always going to be both, but which one you give a little bit more weight to. So feeling that confidence of, I'm going to step on that stage, and that stage by me, not only a physical stage with lights and sound, the stage is your life, is every single day that you're living. So I'm stepping up to that stage with happiness, with that confidence, and with an idea of what do I want to get from. So at Louder, that's what I want to do. And with my team, they're everywhere in the world, which is amazing. We have also learned how to work with remote teams. My right-hand side, Rachel, she is based in Thailand. Also my creative director, Kenny, he's in Thailand. Yeah, they were in Canada before, so we were learning on how to collaborate like that. And another of my colleagues, she's from Colombia. She lives here in Hong Kong, but she's moving to the US soon. The other one is moving to Laos. So it's all about this flexibility and agility, and knowing that we have created such a strong bond and they are confident about also what they can give back to the business, that it doesn't matter what they are. And just to have fun too, because if it's not fun, what's the point? If you have a lot of options, try to choose the one that makes you feel better. If you have little options, still try to choose the one that it's going to make you smile at the end of the day, even when your day was very, very hard. And then you can share it with passion and compassion with the people that you love.
I love that so much. And I think it's important, like when you touched about your team and they're everywhere. One of the uses of brands and knowing your brand is attracting the like-minded people. That's when, this whole saying about, work with like-minded people, I'm talking specifically to the audience right now. The idea is to work with people who share your same values. And again, it goes back to your values. And if you know your values, if you know what you're trying to do in the world, that's how you start the conversation. Like a collaboration conversation, and say, hi, I want to sit down and talk to you about my business. This is what I want to do in life. I think that you're the same with me. What do you think? And if anything, if it doesn't work out, the partnership, it's about building a relationship of like more connections with people outside of your current network. And I think that it gives you a script in a way to just jump outside.
And as with you and I, we've never met before, but there was just that kind of energy, even though we were talking to each other through a camera. It was just there, and the conversation started. And you said this in the beginning, being patient too. Not every business collaboration is going to happen right away. Most of them don't. The real ones don't. We do need to take some time to learn from the other person and to pass that superficial level to a personal level that would build strong bonds. And that's when personal branding also comes into handy. That's why it's called personal. We want a personal to personal relationship that will have strong business relationships.
I love it so much. Yeah, I'm glad that you brought up about how we met. I really touched briefly before you came online that I met you at a conference online, and you were hosting, and you made me feel so welcome, and your energy was just like, oh, this girl, she's vibing my energy. Like, she's got the light, everything is set up, and I just instantly felt connected with you. And the reason I even invited you to be my first speaker is because I'm on this whole journey to be like to expand myself, right, and build my network and expand my network. And I'm expanding it online, virtually. So a lot of people feel stuck that they're not able to do so. But I feel that you're able to build relationships online when you're honest with each other, and you need to just invest that time to get to know. Because we've had like maybe 2 or 3 chats from then, right? Like online, just talking about it, co-creating. I hope I also can jump on your business, because we're going to talk about color, right? Color and wearing color. So yeah, that's exciting. You know, how does color change the vibe when you wear color? I think that's such a great topic. But I think this is great. I think we should just wrap it up, because I think we've done everything. You're such a pro. I gave you a brief, and not a brief, but I just said, okay, this is why I'm talking to you today. I'm talking to you today in celebration of being multiple. Be Multiple is about celebrating people who have multiple levels to each other, and saying that it's okay to do all those things. And like you said, it's bite-sized steaks, right? And eventually all those little bite-sized will make sense to you. But for me, just trying different things and also learning different things just makes you fuller and happier. And I think we need to celebrate that as creative individuals. No longer are we in an age where I'm just an artist. You can also be an entrepreneur. You can also be a scientist if you wanted to. But, you know, those are the things that are passionate to you. So thank you so much. And I hope that you guys join us again. Yamilette, you've been a joy to speak to. Anybody have any questions? I think they're just like listening to you. And if you have any questions, let me know. I think it's consistent listening, a lot of hearts. So thank you so much for listening, everybody. Have a beautiful Friday. Yamilette, do you have anything that you want to say to your new friends?
Well, please keep connected. Don't be shy. I'm always happy to have a call, have a conversation, to connect, just send ourselves more hearts and support, because that's what it's all about. And you see it with our collaboration, which has been amazing. And it's not only about, oh, what am I going to take out of this? Well, the intention is building those relationships. And I really, really thank you for starting a friendship online. And I'm looking forward to meeting you in person too. That would be very, very fun.
Yes, the photo sessions are going to be very, very colorful. I just imagine already. Okay, you have a good Friday in Hong Kong, and I'll connect with you again. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Waving off now. I always hate saying goodbye online. Bye.